Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly, and got a good one for you today. Went down to the marina, the back bay, kind of went through the back side of it, and we had tons of rain over the last 2 days, and it finally stopped. But I wanted to come down here and take a look at this and talk about the fact that banks have no money right now, and that you're going to see major changes to the banking system in this first quarter of 2023. And before I get into it, please take a second. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. And today we have a sponsor, Traction Uranium. I'll talk about them a little later, but let's get into it. I get international news all the time sent to me. And one thing that was utterly fascinating was Denmark. In the year 2022, Denmark had 0 bank robberies. 0. Not one bank was held up in Denmark. And they attribute this to one thing, the fact that the banks have no cash or little cash on hand. And it's starting you're starting to see a trend with banks where they're going to start to follow the Scandinavian system. Through the years, we've always talked about Switzerland and Swiss banks and how that's where you hide your cash. Well, here's the thing. It went in Swiss from 39% of all the transactions out there were conducted in cash down to 9% last year. Just 9% of the transactions in the entire country were done basically in cash. So what you're seeing with these banks is these banks are not holding nearly as much cash as you've seen in the past. This is happening here in the States as well. You're starting to see banks limit the amount of money that they're having on hand, the amount of money that you can take, and they're discouraging people from doing any cash transactions. In Denmark, it really is shocking because people went from using all these different cash transactions on a daily basis to where 2020 hits and people were locked down. And one thing that the banks noticed was that less cash was being used because people were buying things online and living inside. Well, the Scandinavian countries got together with their banking association and said, hey, we need to encourage the banks to hold cash. So they're demanding that these banks hold cash just in case people need it, because what was happening is that people were going to the ATMs and there was no cash in the ATMs. And that started to get some people to freak out. The lowest income levels, the lowest people around the world rely on cash. You're going to see that. And you're also going to see more people that do illegal things in cash. Now, one thing that people talk a lot about is having a side hustle and, selling things on the side and making money on the side. If you don't have the ability to have cash anywhere in the world, it's going to really discourage that because it's all going to be tracked then. The digital dollar is going to be tracked in such a way that you're going to not have an ounce of privacy. Why are you buying this much yarn? Why are you buying ammo? Why are you buying this? Why are you buying that? It's going to completely eliminate the ability to do that if you get rid of these side hustles. So fascinating stuff, because the Denmark and the Scandinavian banking system is what a lot of people are modeling things after. And the problem with it is that you have to have cash. You've got to have some cash in a world and not have everything be digitally based. It's just that simple, because you can have cash in your pocket and lose your debit card and survive. Now think about this. If we go cashless and you use the debit card, I'm right under the flight path for the airport. If you lose your debit card and you have no cash, you're screwed, guys. You have no way of getting through this. So it's very interesting. Read these 2 articles, because when you add all this stuff up and you look at the banking system here in the States, you're starting to see this being controlled more and more and more. Now, Spire Credit Union is a smaller credit union here in the States. But one thing they just did is they announced, listen, maximum ATM amount that you can take out, $500. Okay, wait a second. I've got more. I always tell you guys, go out and get the highest ATM limit you can get. You need to have $1,500, $2,000. You need to be able to take out as much as you can out of the ATM at a time. Think about this. Think about what I'm saying. People that are on unemployment here in California, if they took their unemployment debit card to a Bank of America, they would be able to have the ability to get $1,000 out. Spire Credit Union says no, maximum is $500. So people that are on unemployment can get more cash than the people at Spire Credit Union. That's ridiculous. You need to be able to have money to pay your bills and get by, and again, have as many banks as you need. That's important. Have multiple banks, but also have cash out of the banking system. It's critical right now, mission critical. Have you seen limits on your accounts? Have you seen limits on your deposits? Have you seen limits on your withdrawals? What they will let you take out? Please share this with me if you've seen this. The inflation debit card that's here in California, somebody finally sent me a picture of one, but it was so faded and they were so freaked out and crossed everything out that I couldn't show it to you guys. So if anybody wants to send me that, that would be great. I will share it with the entire audience. And what else? The UK, great article out of the UK when it comes to banking. People borrowed so much money this Christmas season that they say it's going to take years to pay off their Christmas purchases. Do you feel stupid for that? You should. There's no reason to go out and borrow money to buy gifts. There really isn't. So I always encourage people not to do that and to stay away from being in debt any way that they can. But think about this. 25% of the people in the UK, they feel do not have 100 pounds on them. That's shocking, guys. 25% of the people don't have $100 in the bank for bills, and they had to borrow money for this. That unfrickin' believable that it's that bad. But from talking to people lately, people my own age that are going through different things, a lot of people have no dough. I mean, seriously, like, job prospects are not good. Their companies are owed money. Everything is bad. And you're seeing more and more of that. So work on your finances, guys. From a student of 2008, let's put it that way, this is going to be much worse than what we just went through. So please, share your thoughts on this stuff. Are you guys seeing people in worse shape now than they were a couple years ago? Let me know, guys, because the one thing I tell people over and over again is do not let people owe you money right now. Do everything you can to collect, because the priority with people are the squeaky wheels. If you hound on them to pay you, they will pay you. But you're going to see people get in such complete financial disarray over the course of 2023 to where it's going to be depressionary by the end of this year. You can call it wherever you want. Disinflation is now the new word. I mean, all the shenanigans that they're coming up with. But what we're about to experience is going to be completely biblical as far as the upside down financial shenanigans that we're going to see. And it's going to make 2008 look good. So share your thoughts about all this stuff. No bank robberies because they have no cash. You're going to start to see people get more and more desperate for money. Share your thoughts on this stuff, guys. Let's talk about our sponsor, Traction Uranium. Their ticker symbol is TRCTF. One thing I really enjoyed about talking to Bob last week is that he's convinced of one thing. And Bob is a trader that talks about alternatives and different ways to make money. And one thing that he is big on, and he is long on, and that is uranium. When you look at all the energy problems that we've had over the last 2 years and everything globally, and with the war in Ukraine, one thing that you need to look at is uranium. You're starting to see countries go back to nuclear power like never before. Oil is expensive. Coal is expensive. Wind is unstable. Solar, okay, is unstable. And if you look at the last week that we've had here in California, solar is not being produced the way that it normally is. You need to look at things like traction uranium, which is incredibly inexpensive. It's under 40 cents a share, and their ticker symbol TRCTF. But you have to look at where uranium is at and why this is important. I'm not giving you financial advice. Do your own due diligence, but look at countries like Finland. Finland is starting there and reopening their first nuclear reactor in 20 years. France says that they're going to have 6 more nuclear reactors in the next, between now and 2030, that they want to have these open and up and running because the green energy program that they have right now is just not working. One thing that you need to look at is domestic uranium, and that's the advantage to traction, is that when you compare this to different countries and how big they are with nuclear energy, China's the biggest. You know what second is? I thought it was us. It's Canada. We're like towards the bottom of the list. So we need to catch up with this. And the advantage to TRCTF is that you can have an investment that could be absolutely explosive. It could be 3, 4, 5, even 10 times your money in a short period of time, just because of how nuclear energy is taken off right now. Now, whenever I look at a company like Traction Uranium, something to discuss with you guys, I always look at who's involved with the company, who's invested, who's the management team, and Traction Uranium is at the top of the list. Sprott Capital involved, Canaccord, they're involved, Research Capital is involved, and they own 30% of this company. Institutional investors own 30% of the company. Now, the best part of this is that founders and original investors, they own 55% of the company, so the float is incredibly small on this. So you have an incredibly inexpensive company that, like I said, is under 40 cents a share when I filmed this video, but it's something that could be absolutely explosive as far as the growth. Now, is this something that could be in your portfolio 10 years from now? Maybe. But I think this is something that's just kind of a quick play for people where they could make some quick money and then they get out of it. So take a look at TRCTF today. Do your own due diligence and let me know if you guys got in this or not. Now, one last thing on this is that in 1975, there was a man who discovered Key Lake's huge uranium deposit in Saskatchewan. That man is the same man that works for Traction, okay? One of their chief investigators for the company. Now, one thing that's fascinating about this is that Traction is only 5 kilometers away from that original deposit. And the cool thing about this is that they've got a brand new program where they're working with black soil that they can pull the uranium out of the soil. And I got to look at this person's name because I'll never get it right. I could never remember this. And Dr. Yunam Pan is the person that developed this program, and he's the chief geologist. So it's very exciting, but they're doing something totally different with how they're pulling the uranium out of the ground and how it's being mined. And they've got a huge deposit for this in the Saskatchewan area. Take a look at TRCTF today. Do your own due diligence, but I really think that this could be a winner for you guys. And you guys have always asked me for different stuff. Oh, it's not mining stocks. I want something different. Well, you got something different this time. Look at Traction Uranium today and let me know if you guys got into it or not. Now, when it comes to banking, I have to talk about something that's been sent to me well over 24 times, and that is the FDIC video where they discussed the possible shutdown of the banking system on a Friday night. Now, think about this. If they were going to do something to us where they were going to completely close the banks, when would the best time to do it be? Monday night, Tuesday night? No, Friday night at the end of business where people can't get to a bank. Some bank branches aren't even open on Saturdays. So there is a term, TLAC, that most people don't know about, total loss absorbing capacity. And what the banking system did after 2008 was they said, hey, wait a second, we always can't have the government step up and cover everybody's losses. We've got to have a better program. So TLAC was set up so that they could have bank bail-ins and they could let customers know that, hey, I've got some good news. You're going to be a shareholder and we're going to seize some of your deposits. Now, there are people out there that write me and say, Dan, this is only for rich people. For $250,000 and above, if you have more than that money in a bank, that is not protected, and that's the money they're going to seal. Sure, in a perfect world, they're going to do that, but what if they set the threshold at $8,000, $10,000, $20,000? A lot of people would be screwed out there. And let's face it, you get to have shares in Spire, Credit Union, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. Think about this, guys. This would be catastrophic, but you have to have a bank. We all have to have a bank. Got to have online banking. But if they're going to shut us down and do this, this was set up. And look at the forms. Look at everything in the video description below, talking about, hey, it's not fair that the government has to bail everybody out every time. We need to have the people bail themselves out. No, how about you guys run your business like a business? Okay, so you're going to see more and more institutions do things that are going to be crazier. They're going to reel us in really tight right now, and you're going to see more and more things like Spire, Credit Union, where you can't get your cash out of the bank, and they're going to limit the deposits. But the FDIC had a meeting, a public meeting, and I'm not going to share the video because I don't want this video taken down, but they talked about how they're going to do this, and we'll do it on a Friday night. We'll do it on a Friday night. Banking system closes on a Friday night. They just did it out in public, guys. But again, no one would watch these meetings because I'm telling you, it is the nerd festival of nerd festival, watching paint dry, and nothing is more, there's nothing less entertaining than this. Curling, okay? The chicks of curling is more entertaining than watching an FDIC meeting, okay? And I mean that. But with that being said, total loss absorbing capacity, TLAC. Read the form that they came up in 2015 that takes effect now, and they're starting to talk about this again, because if they shut us down and they close the banks, we're screwed, and that's what they're going to do. So, next thing, the one and only Home Depot. For those of you that work at Home Depot, there's a new change with the way that they're going to start paying people. And you know, we've all probably had jobs where we had to punch a time clock. Well, some people like it, some people don't. Home Depot is now going to go to the 100th of a minute. So you're going to start getting paid based on when you punch that time clock. There's no more rounding it up 15 minutes, taking it off. There's no more walking in and saying, hey, Joan, I walked in at 8 o'clock and it started. No, you got to punch the time clock, and it's going to go down to the 100th of a minute. Okay? So what this is going to do is they're saying that, oh, it's going to streamline money. No, it's going to save Home Depot an absolute bloody fortune on overtime. It's going to save people them money on any wasteful employees, because you better check in, because you're not getting paid if you don't punch in. So anybody work at Home Depot that's going to experience this, let us know about this, because this is going to come to a company near you. Now, one thing that you're going to see, and that is something I've been talking about for a while now, and that's frugality and how you can save money. And you're going to see this in a lot of different ways, just like the Home Depot thing. But when you look at companies like BlackRock stepping forward and they are saying, hey, people, get ready, because inflation is going to destroy your life. It's going to destroy businesses this year. It's going to affect each and every one of us, and it is nowhere near being under control. Okay, well, that's a pretty bold statement when you put it that way. But look at the article below, because it makes a lot of sense. But again, when we get these ridiculous CPI numbers and they say, hey, it went down 0.1%, and everybody talks about how much more they're paying for things. I had this email sent to me about a woman on TikTok who went to a bougie LA restaurant that she likes to go to, an Italian restaurant, and on the bill was a 5% charge for both people, and it was listed as health fee. And she's like, what is this? When she's signing the tip, oh, that's for the employee's health insurance. You're starting to cover that now when you eat at our restaurant. Well, in hell, guys. So think about that. You're starting to see restaurants that are going to start charging you 5% for employee health fee. Who would pay that? Would you guys pay that? I would freak out if I saw that. So share your thoughts on this stuff, guys. I really want to know what you think about this. And I think this is just the beginning, guys. Absolutely the beginning of everything. Sacramento, California, Sacramento County right now just announced a new law. Think about this. Think about what I'm saying. You cannot work on your own car at your house. Okay? Now, if you own an auto repair place, you must be jumping up and down. Somebody's idiot cousin must be on the city council that voted for this, but you cannot work on cars in Sacramento County at all. Minor repairs, yes. If the car is considered inoperable for more than 24 hours, they're going to fine you. Okay, now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, I don't want people working on their cars, Dan. But, you get a kid fixing his car in his own driveway, minding his own business, and he can't do that. I know people that have, basically been their own little auto parts, an auto detailing place, an auto repair place out of their own house. Not anymore, guys. And they say that this is going to take off around the country, which it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But the car has got to be registered to the people that live there too. So the idea of you fixing your girlfriend's car, helping her out, it's done, guys. Days are done doing that stuff. So share your thoughts on this. This is the Newport Dunes. I came through the backside. It's a place in summer. You've got cottages where you can camp, and you can rent boats over here, and there's restaurants and stuff. And then you've got this long bridge you can run across. Nice spot. But what do you guys think about that, guys? Again, government control, can't work on your own car. It's ridiculous. It's funny. I had to put oil in my car yesterday, and as I sent this, I thought, imagine if somebody said, hey, is that car registered to you? What are you doing here? None of your damn business. That's how bad it's getting right now. So let me know what you guys think about this. I'm going to finish this video with these last few stories. And the first thing is that so many people have asked me, which credit unions do you recommend? And I found a list of 11 credit unions that anybody can join. It's really cool. You guys should take a look at this. It's in the video description below. And the other thing is, do you guys look at your bank's disclosure? Just sit there and read that stuff. And all this talk about Spire Credit Union had me go down that rabbit hole where I was reading their disclosure, the $500 limit in the ATM, the $2,000 a day. Take a look at that. That's below, but you should also know this about your own bank and your own financial institution. Now, the other thing is, normally the holiday shopping season is a boost for certain products, and it has been for decades. This year, when it came to personal computers, it was off, guys. It was an absolute disaster for personal computers. Intel and AMD, the chip makers, done, guys. Absolutely said it was the worst year ever. Think about this. PC sales in December for the holiday season went off by 28.5%. It was that much off from previous years. But there's also massive inventory right now. So if you want to buy a personal computer, now's the time to get a deal on that right now too. So look at what you want and go buy it. I was at a Walmart yesterday and I was looking at appliances and stuff, and I'm like, wow, it's just so cheap right now. What you can buy waffle makers and coffee makers and things like that for, it's crazy. and you should get it. If you want something new, go get it while it's on sale right now. And the final thing, and this is funny, and they say this is take that, California. Wyoming is thinking about passing a law that will make EV vehicles illegal by 2035. So you'll have to have a combustible gas car in the beautiful state of Wyoming by 2035 if they pass this. So this is just an idea that they're running, but talking about, gaining steam and the cowboy state, the badass state, Wyoming, if they're going to do this. So I love it. Please don't forget to take a look at our sponsor, Traction Uranium, TRCTF. Again, under 40 cents a share. And we'll see what happens with that. Also, please do not forget the like button. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Onward and upward, guys. I will see you guys very soon.